it's even a little bigger than the last time I was here. So I couldn't make it last year, but I'm really happy to be back in South Dakota. Thank you guys so much for doing it in South Dakota. I know that you represent a lot of states and a lot of towns and a lot of ranches, so thank you for bringing it back to South Dakota, because I know we definitely appreciate it, and we fight the fight with you. So some of you know my story, you kind of know where I come from, but for those of you that don't, the reason I'm so passionate about this is not just because I'm from South Dakota, not just because I come from 2 ranching families, which I do. It's because this is something bigger than me, and I'm so blessed to just be somewhat of a voice for what you guys are doing. I don't deserve you, but I'm really happy that I can give a voice to everything you guys fight for, and you fight so much harder than I do. So thank you for continuing to fight, because you need to. And what I've learned in my career, which has only been about 5 years now, is that everything is worth fighting for. And you need to stand up for yourself, and you need to never stop fighting until you win. And we're getting closer to winning, but we haven't won yet. So thank you for being here, and thank you for continuing to fight. So for those of you who don't know my background, I do come from 2 ranching families. My mom and dad are at the front table there. Both my grandpas were named Wayne, and they both were ranchers. I'm very proud of where I come from, and for those of you who haven't read my book yet, I hope you read it, and I hope you read the part where I talk about RCAF and country of origin labeling, because I do discuss it in the book, in the chapter titled Voice for the Voiceless, because it means everything to me, and it was so important for me to put that in the book, because aside from law enforcement and the military, ranchers are really everything that I stand for, because I'm one of you and I come from what you come from. My grandpa Lahren, and that's obviously my last name, but my Uncle Kent and my dad are both here. Uncle Kent still runs the family ranch and keeps it alive, even when it's not easy. But you know, my grandpa came from nothing. He came from essentially being an orphan at a young age and having to fight for everything that he had, both in the military and as a rancher. And then my mom's dad, same thing, the Dietrich side, from McLaughlin, South Dakota, coming from nothing, coming from no education, and building something from nothing through hard work. I still think that's what this country is founded on and based on, and it can be again. We've forgotten it because we've paid far too much attention to the coast and Los Angeles and New York City, and we haven't paid enough attention to the heartland. But that American dream is still alive and well, and when I hear people talk about the American dream, I know that it exists right here in South Dakota and in all the states and towns and ranches you represent. And I am so proud to be able to represent you. I also want to give a shout out to my crew here from Fox News and FoxNation. They're there, and if Matt's here, I don't know where he's at. Matt's in the back. It's not often that you can get a national network to care about what you do in a state like South Dakota, but they care, so I want to give a round of applause to them for being here. And for caring about what you care about. It's been a fight, and sometimes it's a bigger fight, and Matt is in the back of the room. He's my producer, and he knows that I've been wanting to talk about country of origin labeling since I joined Fox News. You saw me here 2 years ago, right before I officially joined Fox News, and it's been a passion of mine. I did it at the Blaze, and I was so excited to bring it to Fox, but now on Fox Nation, and you'll see this probably in 2 to 3 weeks, we had a great panel yesterday. I got to sit down with some great ranchers, and if they're here tonight, I actually would love it if they'd stand up. I know my Uncle Kent is, but if Laura and Kyle and Jay are here, I'd love them to stand up and see, because they were all a part of my cool panel yesterday. And when I told Matt what I wanted, I said I want to tell the story that nobody's telling. Because I know our audience at Fox News and Fox Nation, I know that they are you. I know that they come from the heartland of this country, and I know they care about these issues. And for too long, we've allowed network television and media to focus on the coast. We've allowed them to focus on people that don't have the struggles that you have, that don't have the jobs that you have, that haven't seen their incomes and their livelihoods and their legacies cut down by 50% in the last 5 years. But they care about you. They just need to be reminded. So I'm so blessed to be able to tell that story, and I'm so blessed that Fox News and Fox Nation is with me in telling that story. And Bill has been a resource to me like you wouldn't believe. Bill and Tatum both. We probably communicate on a weekly basis about everything that's happening with RCAF and country of origin labeling, and I tell them, keep me up to date on everything that's happening, because I want to know the fight. I want to know what we're up against. I want to know the revelations. I want to know how close we're getting to winning and where we need to work on more. And Bill emails me on a weekly or bi-weekly basis about everything that's going on with all of you guys, and I couldn't thank him enough. He's been a resource to me. I email him sometimes very late at night because this stuff keeps me up at night. I want to know how I can fight for you better. And I tell him, Bill, there's people talking about farmers right now. This is a topic in conversation. Headlines, people are talking about farmers, they're talking about subsidies. Donald Trump is standing with a group of farmers. What can we do to bring that story and talk about ranchers? Because I know there are a lot of great farmers out there, but there are a lot of great ranchers too that story is not told, that don't take $1 in subsidies, that need to have their plight expressed, and they need their stories told. So Bill and I email often, and I say, what can I do? Help me understand all these things. I know you understand it better than anybody. We've worked together to have him write an opinion article for FoxNews.com that I know, because I talked to the people that run the website, was highly viewed, highly shared, and that was written by Bill. And I said, if there's nobody better to tell the story than Bill Bullard. So you guys have a great advocate and a great fighter that's at the forefront fighting for you guys. And he's been an excellent resource to me. So I thank him and Tatum so much for keeping me up to date on everything. I couldn't do it without them. And Matt knows, because I write these final thoughts and I send the scripts in, and they call it the brain room in New York City. They have to fact check everything, and they are so astounded when I write, oh yeah, you know, they can say Product of USA if it's not Product of USA. They can get it from foreign countries and they can unpackage it and rewrap it and stamp a label on it that says Product of USA, and it's not Product of USA. And even the brain room in New York City at Fox News goes, we can't verify that, doesn't sound right. It's so wrong that the brain room in New York City at Fox News Network has to double check and say, I don't know, Tommy, I don't know if you can really even say that, because that just sounds so wrong that it couldn't possibly be true. I'm like, trust me, it's true. That's how bad it is. The reason that you can't believe it is because it's so hard to believe. And that's a story that needs to be told. And the American people are with you. They care about you. When we sat down at the panel yesterday, and when I had my one-on-one interview with Bill, I said, we're going to do this interview under the pretense that nobody cares about the American rancher. Let's just pretend that everybody is self-absorbed and they're consumers and they only care about themselves. They only care about their families and what their families are eating. Let's just start there and tell the story. But I can tell you, because I talk to people on a daily basis all around this country, that they do care about you. So if we can combine the people that care about what they eat with the people that care about people like you, because they are people like you, we can make a change. I don't know how many of you heard the announcement today, but we're one step closer. Through the activism of RCAF and people that are resilient and determined and persistent, we're going to get that meeting with Donald Trump, and we're going to walk in that office. And we have such a unique opportunity. From what I know about Donald Trump is he cares about you, because I know he cares about the farmer. And for too long, he's had people around him that don't represent your interests. And Donald Trump, it's not that he doesn't want to fight for you. It's not that he doesn't want to change things for you. It's just he has the wrong people around him that are consulting him in the wrong ways, that have the wrong interests at their back and in their pocket. But when we can get in there, we can get Bill Bullard in there. I know that there's nobody that can tell the story better than Bill. And I know I'll be right by Bill's side, because I'm excited to do this meeting, and I know we're going to make it happen, because we don't stop. We don't stop fighting ever. We never play dead. But we're going to get in that room and we're going to show Donald Trump everything that you're fighting for. And I know in my heart of hearts he's going to come through for you, because he cares about you and he wants to make America great again. He wants to keep America great. He wants American beef to be on the table again, and we're going to make that happen. And this has happened in a day. We were sitting there yesterday on a round table talking about, what would you tell Donald Trump if you could talk to him? And everybody in my panel said, this is what I would tell Donald Trump. This is what I also would say to him if we could just get him to listen. And I said, that's the goal. We're always trying to get him to listen. I know what he watches. I know what he listens to. So we're going to get it to him. It's just going to be a process, because we have to get through some layers of people. And then, like a miracle sent from God, we hear that the meeting is going to happen this fall. And I know that there's some nerves that maybe it might fall through. We're not going to let it fall through. We've got way too much to fight for. So we're going to make it happen until we're in that room. And I don't know if Donald Trump has ever seen someone like Bill Bullard that comes with as many facts and figures and graphs as Bill Bullard, but he's about to get educated on exactly what making beef America great again looks like, because Bill's going to bring it to him. I'm going to be right alongside him. But I got to tell you, even before we heard this great news, just sitting down and hearing more of your stories, I like to absorb it like a sponge, because I want to bring all this back to the people that need to hear it. But yesterday in my panel, I asked my Uncle Kent, I said, you know, there's a lot of talk about farmers, and and a lot of people from the coast and don't quite get what you guys do, don't get what farmers do, what ranchers do. They say, oh, well, the farmers got their subsidies, so they should be happy. You know, they're getting money for doing nothing, so they should be happy. And you ranchers are the same thing. You know, you guys are getting something. And I said to my Uncle Ken, you know, what do you want? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you want a subsidy. And he said, no, you know, ranchers are a different kind of people. They don't ask for anything. They don't ask for a handout. They don't want a handout. They want a fighting chance. They want a chance to be able to display their hard work and show the American people what they fought for and what they work for day in and day out and what they break their backs to do for little money and little appreciation. And that's all we want, is a fighting chance. And I couldn't put it any better. I know you people in this room don't want anything from anybody. You just want to work hard, and you just want to be rewarded fairly for the hard work you put in. And you want to leave something to your families. I know many of you are worried because you come from a legacy of ranchers, and you're worried that you won't be able to pass it on to your kids or your kids' kids, because who in their right mind would want to get into this industry the way it's going now? The fact that you guys are all in here, you're the lucky ones. And that's sad to say that you're the lucky ones, because I know you have to fight like hell just to stay operational on a daily basis, but you're the lucky ones. You have a legacy worth fighting for. It's even bigger than your ranches. It's bigger than your cattle prices. It's bigger than all of this. It's bigger than a meeting with President Trump. It's the American heartland. And it's what we won on in 2016. It's what we're going to win on in 2020, because you people and what you do and the values you bring and the family that you bring and the beliefs that you protect and defend, that is the heart of our country, and you can't stop fighting for it. I live in California. I know what it looks like when people stop fighting for their values. I know what it looks like when people lay down and say, well, the other countries in the world, they're doing something different. Might as well do it too. I know what it means when you let your traditions die and you say it's just easier to let it fold. I know what that looks like, and I don't want that for South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Montana, any of the states that you guys are from. I don't want that for you. I don't want to see you fold. I don't want to see you stop fighting, because the truth is, if you guys stop fighting and the people like you stop fighting, we've lost this country. And we fought way too hard to build this country, to stop fighting for it. And I know it seems like an uphill battle, that it seems like every day you're beaten down, but I know about this group of people too. I know that you have strong faith in God, and I truly feel like what's happened with this revelation, that we're going to get this meeting with Donald Trump and be able to be face to face and explain our issues and our values and what's worth fighting for. I know that that's an act of God. I know that God's looking down on all of you, and he saw you all come together, and he saw your faith, and he's testing you, seeing how long you were going to wait it out, seeing how long you were going to fight, seeing what he could put you through until he gave you a blessing, until he gave you his grace. And I think it's right upon us now. So now's the time where the battle's going to get the hardest, and we've got a great opportunity coming up, but never stop fighting, because you can't, and you can't stop putting your faith in God, because he's watching over all of you, because you're protecting his values. And that's something that I brought with me through my career in television and living in Los Angeles and going to New York and being in network television and being around people who spit on me, throw water at me, kick me, whatever. What I've learned is the values that I was brought up with, and that's a rancher's family values. And that's what you guys need to hold on to, and you need to teach your children, your children's children, because we need more people like you. We cannot give up. I know you guys have been having conferences all week too, where you're talking about globalization, you're talking about what they're trying to do to you, and they're trying to clamp down on you, and the government's trying to clamp down on you, and people that are supposed to represent you have forgotten you. And we talk about this all the time on Fox News. We talk about the AOCs of the world. We talk about the Democratic Socialists, the Bernie Sanders. We talk about all those people, and it seems like it might be so distant from South Dakota and North Dakota and Montana and all of your ranches across this country, but it's not. Because if you guys stop what you're doing and you let yourselves fold, and you let globalization and the World Trade Organization and all those other outside forces get you down, everything is going along with it. We are fighting people right now who get on stage at a Democratic debate and say, I want socialism. We fight for that. We're not hiding it anymore. The only thing that's going to stand up to that is the people in this room and the people like you across this country. So please don't stop fighting, because you inspire a lot of people. I also think it's important to remind people that don't understand your fight, and the consumers out there, and to break it down into layman's terms. And I always tell Bill I need to present this to the Fox audience, but I need to break it down in real simple terms because sometimes people that don't live where you live or come from where you come from, they don't know the difference between a farmer and a rancher, quite honestly, and I'm dead serious on that. They don't know the difference. So I say we need to break it down in the simplest of terms as we possibly can. So when we need to talk about the fight, we need to say, if you have two things in front of you in the grocery store, and you're just the average customer, you're a middle-class American and you're buying a steak, you're buying hamburger, it doesn't matter what kind of beef product it is, and you walk up and you see something that's labeled made in Brazil and you see something that's made in the USA. If both things are equal, which one are you going to pick? Almost every American's going to pick made in the USA because they don't know what's in that Brazilian beef. And you guys know that, but the average consumer, they actually know it too. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter if they're from the hippiest place in California. They know that they'd rather pick up a made in the USA product. So that's the way we need to frame the argument. We need to get to people that might not otherwise be our advocates, but they are. And you know what? Actually, Laura said something to me yesterday that I think is important. We want better for the American people. We don't want just the rich people that go to Whole Foods to be able to know where their beef is coming from. We want people that are average Americans that maybe don't have a lot of money to be able to go to a supermarket and know they're getting the best of the best and be able to be discerning with their families. And something that Kent told me a couple years ago that I talked about in my final thoughts at the Blaze was you wouldn't feed your family out of the garbage can, so why would you feed them anything you don't know where it's from? And that's the argument we need to have. That's the argument we need to really set the narrative straight because a lot of Americans are with you. They just don't know it yet. So please continue to get the story out there and tell everyone that you can because it's a message that resonates with everybody. It doesn't matter who they voted for. It resonates with everybody. But another thing that I thought was interesting, and I didn't even know this, have you guys seen the advertisements for the Impossible Burger? It's fake meat that we're going to eat because we're going to save the planet or something. We're going to save the turtles by eating Impossible burgers. I didn't even know this. First of all, not only are they not healthier for you, because they're not, but it was actually Kyle who told me yesterday that if you look at the ingredients list for the Impossible Burger, there's only 2 ingredients, and those are flavorings that differentiate it from dog food. So all these hippies in California who think they're saving the environment are eating dog food. So if we can bring that message and let them know, I think that's an important story to tell. And I'm actually going to tell Kent's story too because I think it's such an important one. And I hope you guys share the anecdote. But, you know, my Uncle Kent's been fighting this battle for so long, and I've been lucky to join the fight in the last few years. But he's very passionate about it, as you all know if you know my Uncle Kent. But someone came up to him in a restaurant when he was eating a steak and said, you know, our pets eat better food than you do. And he was astounded by that, and then it got him to thinking. So he went home and he called the 1-800 number on the back of dog kibble, and he asked the customer service where the meat was from that went into this dog kibble because he's very worried about his dog and he wants to make sure they're eating the best. And the 1-800 number on the back of the dog food said, oh no, we only have made in the USA beef. We only source our products from made in the USA. We want the best for the dogs. The fact that dogs are eating better than the majority of Americans should be enough to wake Americans up. And we can spread that same message. It's worth the fight and it's worth telling the story. And that's what we're going to fight to do on Fox and FoxNation. But there's only so much we can do. If you guys give up, my fight's not worth anything. So don't stop. I want you to know that it's you that inspire me. It's you that get me up to do this every day. And when I hear you coming up to take pictures with me or you ask me to sign your book, it means the world to me. I am just a girl from South Dakota that comes from 2 ranching families, neither of which went to college, neither of which asked for anything from anybody, and built 2 very successful ranches from nothing and just worked their asses off to get there. I know that's all the people in this room, but that's what I come from. So the fact that I can be where I am, I owe you guys the world because you are my supporters, you are my followers, and if anything I can do to repay you for raising me the way that you did, because I was raised by this state and people like you, is give back and share your story. So thank you for letting me share it. Please let me know if I get anything wrong or I need to share something more, because that's really what I'm dedicated to. And again, I want to thank Fox News and Fox Nation for being here, because they were right on board as soon as I said I wanted to do this. They said the fight of the rancher is so important and we need to bring this to the Fox audience, and without hesitation they said we need to tell the story. So thank you for that network that I know you guys all watch, but they have your back and they will always have your back. So thank you guys for letting me tell your story, and we won't stop fighting until we win. And I think victory is coming very soon. So don't lose hope, because it's coming.